tensions are running higher than ever in Syria after yet another chemical weapons attack allegedly launched by dictator Bashar Assad, a close ally to Russia and Vladimir Putin. That attack killed at least 70, according to the World Health Organization, yet injured hundreds more. President Trump tweeting this morning. Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Get ready, Russia, because they will be coming nice and new and smart. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal. Talking about Assad, who kills his people and enjoys it. Some of President Trump's strongest language yet. Joining us now is retired Major General and Chairman of Stand Up America, Paul Vallely. General, it's great to have you back with us.
Thank you, John.
First, I want to ask you this question. I know you've been pushing for renewed cooperation and coordination between Russia and the United States, but there is so much discussion right now about a military attack on Syria by the United States. What would that look like a second time around? Because we're just now at a year from the last time President Trump struck back against Syria.
Well, it would look about the same thing, I guess, and from the warning that President Trump put out, they'd use Tomahawk missiles. They would use perhaps air to strike the Air Force and the airfields in Syria. So it looks like from the warning it would be much bigger than a year ago. But I would warn the president until we have definitive intelligence, which we don't have right now, even according to General Mattis, that the Russian supported Assad in this chemical attack. The Russian General Staff now is examining it, and they're indicating that the white helmets, the ones that provide medical and support there to the civilians, have staged this. So we're not at the point where we should launch anything until we know definitively.
Yeah, as you and others are so quick to remind us all the time, you know, a lot of folks hear about airstrikes. They sound surgical on television, but you need to have actual boots on the ground to gather that hard intelligence to target and make these targets effective. So in other words, what you're telling us, General, no matter what President Trump does here, it won't be enough to really stop or hurt Bashar Assad.
No, and as I've said the last 2 days on different interviews, I would have Putin and Trump sit down in Reykjavik or Estonia or someplace within the next 48 hours to determine what they can do to find out exactly what happened. And if Assad did do it, then he should be tried for war crimes and Russia should not support him anymore. I think Trump and Putin can work this out, but we shouldn't arbitrarily, based on allegations, conduct an attack on this country. They've been bombed, missiled, blown up by IEDs. I mean, chemical attacks. This country is in such bad shape that I just can't say we should be pillaging it anymore because of this leader. There's got to be some other ways to get him out of there, and for Putin and Trump to really get together and come up with a good strategy to do it.
Something else the president tweeted today, I wanted to ask you about this. Quote, our relationship with Russia is worse now than it has ever been, and that includes the Cold War. There is no reason for this. Russia needs us to help with their economy, something that would be very easy to do, and we need all nations to work together. Stop the arms race. Worse now than it has ever been, really, General? We've had the Cuban Missile Crisis. There have been other significant problems with Russia. Worse now than it has ever been. Do you agree with the president?
No, that's not really true. It's heightened over the last year, and a lot of it's been because we seem to attack Russia for everything that happens. And you know, I was in Moscow last year, and I can tell you the Russians would like to really get along and have this proceed with a good relationship with the United States. But you can't blame Russia for everything. It's just like the Russian spy in Great Britain. Great Britain's never been able to prove that the Russians did that. And here, I'm not supporting the Russians entirely, but we've got to be very common sense about this and base it on really good information. The CIA does not have good information and intel, I can tell you, inside Syria. When I was there, the station chief in Istanbul was the closest person to CIA to Syria.
And what happens, General, if we don't have that intelligence, we start lobbing Tomahawk cruise missiles into Syria, and we actually kill some uniformed Iranians who are operating there, or uniformed Russians? What next?
Well, that creates a situation around the airfields because they have Russian advisors there. Lord knows where all the different Iranians of the Quds Force, the Revolutionary Guard, they're spread out in some different locations, primarily in central and western Syria. But al-Nusra, we know in the last year from intelligence that's been gathered that they have been able to take into inventory some chemical weapons. So again, it could be a staged event, but we need to know for sure before we launch on Syria again.